Folks, welcome to Green Valley, Arizona. This is a live edition of the Jake Feinberg Show, coming to you live on Facebook, and joined here by the last white bebop drummer alive today in the world. It's an honor to welcome Artt Frank to the Jake Feinberg Show.
Thanks, man.
Art, can you tell me a little bit about your conception of drumming from the swing era, and then when you first started to hear the language of bebop, especially on the drums?
Well, I have to go back when I was about 14 to 15 years of age in Maine. I was playing swing drums. I'll give you an example.
Yeah, why don't you give an example?
Swing drums like this. That's swing. Now, the difference between that and bebop would be like
Now explain to the worldwide audience what that difference was, because you played a lot of, you were swinging there.
Right. Well, I was doing a lot of fills because I was listening to either the alto player or the tenor player or the trumpet player doing licks. And when he take a breath, I'd tilt with a fill and a couple of, I'd echo like my left hand does it. I go with the bass drum. I'd break it up like Max. On the simple watch. Okay.
People are loving this, by the way. Artt Frank on fire already, dude. So, can you just talk about the forefathers of bebop drumming and how they influence you, and
Yeah. Getting back to what you asked, I was in Maine, in Westbrook. I'd listen to the radio at night. And I'd hear somebody sit touring, talking about the Metropolitan Opera House. That was the Royal Rouge restaurant.
The Bopera House.
Yeah, Metropolitan Opera House.
Bop.
Opera House.
I love it.
Anyway, this is in 48, 49. So I was a kid of 16 years old. I hitchhiked down until I came to this restaurant called the Royal Rouge. They wouldn't let me in because I was 16. So instead, I went up to a place called the Spotlight Lounge, and that's where Stan Levy, the great white drummer.
Angela, if you're tuning in, we're talking about your late husband, Stan Levy, here.
Yes, Stan Levy.
People are on fire with this video already.
I walked in, and I waited to Stan get through for the first set. He was a big man, about 6'4", 6'5". And I said, Stan, my name is Artt Frank, and I'm from Westbrook, Maine. He said, how can I help you, kid? I said, well, I'm interested in bop drumming. And he looked around. He could have just said, well, I don't have the time, kid. But he was gracious, and he took me over to a table on the other side, and he did something like this. He said, I'm going to show you something. I'll watch this. He goes, here's the left hand, here's the right hand. He was a left-handed drummer, incidentally, so he had to turn it around. But he said, when you ride, this hi-hat comes down at the same time as the beat on the cymbal. See, I'm doing like this. Right? Now, if I was playing swing, I go. Okay, the bebop took that flute, Kenny Clark. Total independence is it.
Total independence, yeah.
Okay, there's the right hand going. Then the hi-hat, then the four. Left. Beat. Then the left hand is totally independent, which separates from swing drumming because you're in a ritual swing drumming. When the bass came in, the guys like Buster Williams, Paul Chambers, they come in, they had that big rooted sound.
Yeah.
And didn't have to use the bass. Where Klute got another, he used a hi-hat instead of the bass. Watch, you get this thing going. And you tell me you got that thing going there. I mean, go around the drums and still come back to this.
Artt Frank, on fire, the last white living bebop drummer. Now, Art, can you talk about really when you got on the bandstand, the first cats you played bebop with, and how you played really busy but did not clutter the sound?
Well, when you say the first guy I played with was Charlie Parker.
You played with Bird.
The first one I ever played with.
You want to tell that story?
As I said, I was walking into the place called the Royal Roost Restaurant on Broadway, and I was too young. And when I came down, I lied about my age. I told them I was 17. So they brought me into the Royal Roost Restaurant, and they had, like they had in Birdland, they had like a bullpen. So people were 16 years old or under.
Right, the peanut gallery.
Exactly. So they had me over there. So about 30 minutes went by, and the set ended. Charlie Parker came walking by, and I said, "Mr. Parker, Mr. Parker." He stopped. He said, "Who called me, Mr. Parker?" He said, "No one called me Mr." So he came over. I said, "What can I do for you?" I said, "I'm from Maine, and I'd like to sit in with you." He kind of laughed. So anyway, I think it was Miles, young Miles, yeah. And I think it was Tommy Porter on bass, or Philly Russell. And it was Matt Roach who came over and said, "Let the kid play a little." He said, "Let the kid play a little." So I waited around for about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Roach said to you, but he referred to you as the kid.
Yep.
Okay.
Let the kid sit in. He said, "Let the kid play a little."
Yeah.
And I think an hour or two went by. We was nipped to the last set, and he called me up. And I sat in, and he was very gracious. He said, "Let's do something about." I think. Well, see how I could play this?
Yeah.
Because I was listening to him on the radio from New York in the state of Maine, the WJZ FM, with somebody said to him, he would get down and take his TV, or not the TV, but you've got the tape recorder with him, and he record. In fact, I got a tape from live from New York City, and I listened to him, and I would copy the beats on the table, because I didn't have a set of drums. I just knew I could do it, because I had faith in Almighty God, and I believe He gave me the gift. So to make a long story short, went down, pitched like down, got into the club, spoke to Mr. Parker, and he let me sit in. He let me sit in. And I'll tell you, you talk about nervous. Yep, I sat in, and I felt I did pretty good. Now, I'm going to give you a near verbatim quote.
Yeah.
After I was through, he came over to me, he said, "You're a little bit raw, but you have good time and proper placement." Now, I didn't know what the hell he meant by proper placement.
Right.
And he said to me, "Go home and do some wood shedding." I wanted to tell you, it's going to be crazy. So I went back. We had a wood stove in our house in Maine. And I started going down the cellar, chopping wood and bringing armfuls of wood up behind the stove. My father came home, he said, "What the hell are you doing?" I said, "I'm wood shedding." I said, "Mr. Parker, I'm doing wood shedding." He said, "That's not what he means." So he learned right now what wood shedding meant. But it was, anyway, I did this a while longer. 6 or 7 months later, I went back to he was no longer, I don't think, yeah, he's still in the Royal Roost or someplace. And he let me say it again, and he said to me, "Now you're sweeping the store clean." And I asked what that meant. He said, "You've arrived. You're playing bebop." I was 17 years old. And why I feel so good about that, Jake, is because Stan Levy was 16 years old when Dizzy Gillespie hired him to play with his group. And in that group was Charlie Parker. So it's a small world when you think about, my God. And the thing about Charlie Parker, when I get out and see him at Birdland years later, anybody he'd invite people up the stage, because he knew what it was like to be laughed on the stand.
Right.
So he let anybody come and try. I could see these alto players, tenor players, and trumpet players going up the stand, and as soon as they get up, down they went. You know why? The tempos were here. You know why that was? He separates the man from the voice. If you couldn't hold the tempo, you couldn't play. And word went out. Don't this guy sit in, he can't cut it.
Can you talk? Today we are immersed in a society of pulsating, where the bass drum is the main timekeeper.
Yeah.
Can you talk about how you keep time on the cymbals in bebop? Can you demonstrate that?
Sure, but first of all, let me tell you, I wrote a book called Essentials for the Bebop Drummer. It's all about mind tones. I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
Like this. I had no drums growing up, so I had mind tones. Okay, that's the hi-hat. Look, boom, that's the mid. Okay, now right. We're getting one. I left this out purposely. Now watch me bring it in. I'll do a little slower until you get a forward propulsion movement. It's like what we call in New York City in the old days, playing with an edge.
Yeah.
One. That's a 1, 2, 3. See? There's a high and a half time. When you come back on the time, say someone's playing out and deep. You fill the spaces.
Yeah, no, but I mean, when was the first, when Parker came, after you woodshedded and came back, he said, you're sweeping the floor. Clean.
Yeah.
Was there a period in bebop where you were breaking up the time and the form? Because that's what you were chopping over there.
Right.
Because I mean, everyone, well, in my research, what I've been noticing is that, it's Tony and Ron Carter that get the publicity in the mid-'60s. But were there cats in the bebop era that were breaking up time and breaking up form? And can you demonstrate about how you break, when you're playing 4/4 and then all of a sudden you break it up, if you could demonstrate that?
Okay, well, let me explain something. You got to take into consideration, I'm playing to imaginary tenor saxophone player,
Right.
player, bass player. If I'm just playing time, now if I when I do this, that's the fill, okay? But I'm still coming back to the 2, 3, 4 right. There's the moment right there. That's the halftime. That's it. Now you know something, Jake? Independence. Come on.
Yeah.
Not the left hand. 2 to 1. Mind of its own, but the time is still there.
Right, but again, this was. Can you talk a little bit about your learning? Because I don't think the Chapin book had been written in the 50s. This four-way coordination. I mean, can you talk about the street scholar mentality of Artt Frank? I mean, how did you? Please talk about that.
Sure, on car hoods, mailboxes, tables. That's all I did.
Say again. Milk cartons. Say again.
Huh?
What did you use to bang on?
Hoods of cars. Tables, mailboxes around Westbrook, Portland, buses, wherever I go, I'll always be, like, he could hear it, Look. It's just learning. I never had drums. I just could do it. It's a gift of God. My daughter Kathy does the same thing.
Right. Now, we're burning here with Artt Frank. I mean, can you talk a little bit about the fact that a lot of the cats did not like people playing backbeat. They did not want a backbeat.
I didn't want either.
Explain why. Why is a backbeat not...
Too heavy. I mean, it's like a... I can't get into it because I don't feel it.
You don't feel it.
I don't feel dick doing it. some swing I do, but when I'm playing bebop, it separates you from all other musicians because the tempos are complex and they're very high. And you can play, they can play a... Oh. See the difference? You're cooking, you're a whole other level.
Right.
I can't even do it. I don't feel it. It's like Chet.
But okay, but here's the other thing. Fats Domino, can you show the audience worldwide about how to play a shuffle? This is very important as well. The shuffle in jazz. The shuffle in jazz.
I never got into that. I can't do it.
Okay, let me ask you, before we got on the air, you talked about being outside with Frank Strazzeri and Chet Baker, smoking a cigarette, and Chet said something about you were felt more than you were.
Yeah, we had.
Hold on, I want to say you were. Someone said they felt you more than they heard you or heard you. Can you explain what Chet loved about that, and maybe demonstrate the sensitivity about that?
We were outside with Frank Strazzeri, Frank Delarosa on bass, Chet, and myself. Leonard Feather and his wife Jane to come in to see Chet, and he leaned over and he says, "Art, could you ask Chet to do my wife's favorite tune, If You Could See Me Now?" Well, that's a very special thing with Chet because Tadd Dameron died in the same room that Chet was with him. And Chet and Leonard were not the best of friends. I leaned over, I said, "Chet, it'd be a good idea to do that, and maybe a good write-up the next day." Okay, so Chet did it, I got a tape of it. Anyway, we went outside, and then we were smoking. Someone said that Leonard Feather had said, "Artt Frank." I like Artt Frank. He's a drummer who's felt rather than heard. And I was insulted by that.
You were insulted by that.
Because what the hell is he talking about? Chet said, "No, man, no. That's a great compliment." He said, "Most of it you hear too much of." But he said, when you're felt, that means everyone can feel what you're doing. They'll have you play loud. And it made all the sense. And Chet, when he played everything was lyrical. And that's why Stan Levy told me, he said, "Artt Frank doesn't just play drums, he plays music." Yeah, I want to give you an
Yeah, I want play the tune. Let's play the tune, and not more than just keeping time. Play the
I'm
tune.
going to play something for you. I'm going to play something lyrical now.
Got Artt Frank here, legendary bop drummer,
Anthem, too.
handsome.
Now, Jake, I'm going to play melodic for you. You know the tune, "Mama's Little Baby Love Struggling Buttons"?
Oh man, that was burning, dude. Now, as opposed, so let's just go back to being a timekeeper. Show how yeah.
What tempo do you want it in? What tempo? Medium, like here?
Yeah.
Well then, I let it go and it does its own bouncing. What to do in the single. A full bop mix. I graduated time. Started here and I come up here and I came back here.
Okay, now here's the question. Donald Duck Bailey played with Jimmy Smith. How can you talk about how you played with Groove Holmes in an organ setting? Because it's it's a different kind of he was Groove playing bebop organ?
Yeah, he liked to, because I'll tell you, Don Bailey, I know Don very well.
Duck, well, he rest in peace. He's left us now.
He did?
Yeah, he left us. Yeah. Because he was playing back in Philadelphia. Tootie Heath told me that he would make drums out of ashtrays in his woodshop class. He had this all really exactly, it sounded like that. So can you talk about how you played with Groove Holmes? Was Groove kicking pedals playing? I want that, because that's a different setting than the Bird bebop.
Okay, let's take the bassist, Buster Williams, Paul
Chambers,
or any of the great bass players like
Bill Crow.
Bill Crow, absolutely, Bill, and a guy like that, and Cameron Brown.
Yep.
Okay, their tone was so robust, so heavy, so fat, that as a drummer, I could go here like. I wanted to play so loud because they're holding the time from it, that deep time.
Deep time.
Yeah, deep. It got that deep bottom. Okay, now Don Bailey, when I was in L.A., Bailey was playing with Groove Holmes in Fonell Schwartz at a place called the Mr. Adams Club. It was on West Washington Boulevard.
Wow, and a trio. Thornell was playing guitar.
That's right. Great guitarist. And I had met Groove before in New York when we were both in the National Guard. He was from Kansas City, New Jersey. He was a garbage collector. He started playing at B3. Last time I saw him was in Boston. About a couple of years later, I went out to LA and there was playing a place called the Mr. Adams Club. My God. I went in, I sat in. He was so swinging. What happened is that this man was so lyrical, everybody in the audience could not help but be moved by him.
Right.
You know, and also he had that ability to reach out, and he'd do this kind of a smiling thing, where the whole orchestra of people in the place would just be jumping by his smile, if you will. He'd hide down between the B3 and play a couple of licks and he'd come back with a big smile on his face.
When he would slow down and play a ballad, can you demonstrate that? Because this is real. It's holding it back.
Yeah. Oh yeah. In my book I call it dynamic restraint.
Dynamic restraint.
Yeah, dynamic restraint.
Artt Frank dropping knowledge and bombs on us all day today.
Knowing you can do something, but restraining yourself from doing so. Now, you can do this. Now, Chet, it was the same way with Groove. That's a 2 and 4. Yeah. Now, with Chet, you go. You're on the 8/4 instead of the 2 and 4. See this, right high. How do you keep time regular? Against this. I will. I can still swing on the ballad. Then you get this little, I'll get in. See? There's the time right there. Anyway, you don't lose the time, you're changing time, but you're coming back to it. You lock the time in your ears. Once it's locked in, I can do anything I want to. There's the time. Go on. Still there. See?
I dig. No, is it for somebody who was born in the late 70s, is there a way for you to differentiate the rhythm feel from the West Coast bebop scene with Chet and Strazzeri versus the more burning East Coast bebop? Was there a definitive time feel difference?
Well, it was not definitely a time feel. It was the application of what is meant. West Coast bebop was more of a swinging bebop.
So why don't you demonstrate that? Let's do the swing.
I have to have musicians to do it.
Yeah, West Coast cool.
Oh yeah. Okay. No, there's no variance in the symbolizer.
Right.
Bebop. before, again, thing. Not so. It's swinging, but it's not emphasizing the second and third beats.
I dig.
Watch. Two, three, four. Here's a pulse. Push and pull. Push and pull. Push and pull. Ready? Let's go. Not too much variance. You know what I'm saying? And here. Now watch this little build.
Artt Frank. Now, Daniel Ray, Big Black, is definitely going to be tuning into this. He's a dear friend of mine.
Great.
Now, when did you met Big Black out? Can you talk about playing with Black?
Big Black was working at the the It Club.
The It Club, right.
On Washington Boulevard near La Brea. I was living in Baldwin Hills at the time, playing with Richard Gould and Phil Oak Spots every now and then.
Wow.
I went to the It Club and there was Big Black. Who the hell is this guy? He was just on fire. So I met him, I think about 64, 5 or thereabouts, or 56. And I sat in, I don't think he'll remember me. I was good friends at that time with Donald Bailey.
Doc, yeah.
Fantastic drummer. You know what he said about me? He loved my left hand.
Someone just wrote in here. I mean, this is my 50th live Facebook video. This is by far the most commented on Artt Frank, and it says here, great to see he's still with us. He's a legend, and I'm glad you're interviewing him. He's a Bible of knowledge. Again, verbal. I would like you to talk about your concept, like what made, for instance, Chet Baker, if he was a great leader, because a lot of these cats, they didn't want to talk. They just wanted to burn. Can you talk about bandstand leadership from some of the cats that you played with?
Yeah, you know what? Bird was the same way. Bird, when I first learned from Bird, he would call people up out of the audience because he was a gracious man. And he always said, I said, one person came in one time, he said, Mr. Parker, what's bebop? He said, bebop's about constant recovery, man. Bebop is about constant recovery. What does that mean? Watch. I didn't get it on time. See, I missed time. What? I came right back to it. I covered it. So in other words, bebop is about constant recovery. You make a mistake, you recover constantly and keep going. That's out of Bird's mouth.
That's out of Bird's mouth.
Right.
What else? What other? So, but in general, on the bandstand, how did these cats communicate with you non-verbally?
Feel. All of my feel. I mean, Chet once told me that I had the greatest ears from here to here. No, the greatest transmission from here to here than any drum he's ever worked with.
Right.
That means I could hear and I could respond immediately. And that's what it's all about. Communication is about responding. You don't want someone up there, just one guy doing all the talking, right? So Charlie Parker, Bird, Chet would let you play as long as you had something to say. But when you had nothing more to say, you're just filling things for nothing. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, you don't want to play for the sake of playing. I mean,
Exactly.
you want it to have some feel. People are, Artt Frank. I mean, how much of the scene in the 50s had to do with being a junkie? Were you if you were part of the club, if you were a junkie, and were you not trusted if you weren't?
Well, it's funny, that's a good thing. I'm glad you brought that up. People, every time I go to a party, I say, this man must have drugged him, drug addict himself.
Right.
Must have shot up. Because I was my witness, I never did. Never touched it. And what was is that Charlie Parker, I had to go back to Chet and Charlie. Chet told me out of his own mouth that Charlie Parker was like an older brother to him, if you will, because he didn't want anyone else, no push, to get next to Chet. He told Chet, one day when you make it, you're going to see a bunch of hangers on. And it happened, okay? But I was never quizzical about wanting to see what it was like.
Right. No desire, but I mean, dealing. How did you deal with cats that were using when you knew they were on the bandstand? They were using.
Well, they wouldn't use it on the bandstand. They disappeared someplace. But I tell you the God's honest truth. You accepted it, man. To play with guys like that, big deal. I mean, you're in heaven. When I played with Chet, I don't care what he did.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I was with a guy. Same with Bird. I mean, Dexter, Artt Frank, all these guys. I mean, I don't understand what the big deal is because if you look around today, almost everybody and their neighbors are doing it.
Well, they're doing it with over-the-counter drugs from Western pharmaceutical companies.
Right.
But I mean, did Bird ever? I mean, people thought that they could reach that sort of. I mean, everyone kind of got the idea of saying, "Wow, he's 100 years ahead of us because of this stuff."
Right. I see what you mean.
And I mean, I dig that you were straight and you didn't do it.
Right.
But did a lot of cats buy into that theory that well, if Bird's doing it, then maybe I can transcend to that level too, right?
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, that's true. They started thinking, I guess, because they wanted to play like Bird, but that wasn't what it was. Chet told me that I know he never smoked cigarettes until he was about 25, believe it or not. And he only takes marijuana because someone laid it in his pocket. And he said the first time he tried it, he laughed his ass off. I mean, he laughed.
Sure.
Funny. And Chet was not a drug addict to start. I mean, when I was with him, I'll tell you, he was put on a strict methadone program in 1968 or 69. And when I played with him again up until 1977, he was straight. I mean, he made what you call
He'd have relapse.
no, what you call it's called chipping. He made chipping, but it never bothered him on the stand. Never bothered him driving a car. I don't see what the big deal was. I mean, you come to see him shoot up, or you come to see him play? That's why. What the heck are you talking about? I smoked. I had a bad habit of smoking. It never bothered him on the stand. I mean, Chet never fluffed up. Bird never fluffed up. Hot Pepper, Stan, none of the guys ever messed up. I mean, gee, to play at that tempo, you see, when you reach that stage in life, you become that great. Like Chet said, they have no idea, Art. He said, I am under pressure all the time. If I make one bad note, say, oh, it's because he shot up. No. Chet was gifted, man. All those great cats. Bird was gifted. Come on, where's it coming from? God Almighty.
Do you could you talk a little bit about some of the games you used to play with other drummers, or just the ways of working out new grooves? I feel like there's. By the way, Roy Haynes is still around, 92 years old. Okay.
Roy's a great guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, can you talk a little bit about the grooves that you used to work on? Did you have a compatriot like in the just on your off time in the 50s? Can you talk about some of the stuff where you would try to create rhythm expansion?
Yeah, like when I first heard Stan Levy play, what I was drawn to was the guy's ride, and this time was right up here, right in your face. And this time was so clean. Max, by comparison, was a great drummer, but he didn't have that smoothness that Stan Levy had. And Stan, he was a self-taught drummer himself. So I emulated Stan first before I emulated anyone else. Secondly, I would say behind Stan would be Flute. I loved him. I loved Kenny Clark's work. In fact, Kenny Clark, he did it. Max rotate. Max had a deep. That's Max. See? And Kenny. That's a Kenny. That's Kenny Clark way. Something like this. maestro and also Philly Jones.
What about, yeah.
Philly Jones. So Stan Levy.
What about Papa Joe?
I never dug him.
Never dug him?
No, never dug him. Swing, he's not bebop, he's swinging.
Sure, but he was a forefather. You're right, but I mean, who were the drummers? Was he a precursor to bebop?
Gene Krupa. I emulated Gene Krupa more than anyone in swings. I just loved him. I was a personal friend of his. There's a picture of us up there. See up there, next to Dave Brubeck, in the second row up. Dave, right in the middle. That's little Gene right there.
This is a collaboration of Artt Frank's.
And my two brothers. Yep.
And there's Chet there.
That's right. In the middle, you see Chet again up there with the colored shot. That's me up there with Holmes. That's me with Dave Brubeck. That's me and Chet over here's a great shot. All these guys, there's Henny Clark's up there, Billy Holiday,
people are confused because they're saying he's the last living. No. He's the last living white bebop drummer.
As far as I know.
Well, no, we got Tootie Heath out there, Al Foster, Jimmy Cobb, Roy Haynes. I get it. All right. Did you get into drum? Did you ever do a drum battle? I mean, can you talk about?
Yeah.
Can I just hear? Can I see a little bit of you just going off on your own, flying high?
Well, let's see. The only thing I can tell you, man, I'm not a soloist. I'm a lyrical player. I don't get to soloing too much. I can do a melodic solo. That's all I can do. But each drummer has a starting point. Okay, like Gene Krupa is. Gene. Right. See that? On the rib shot, all right? I don't know. I don't have a style of my own. I really don't. I'm just a. What'd you say, honey?
What?
I don't know.
Would you say that you? I mean, when you came out of it, were you? How did you deal with the Latin jazz?
I didn't play too much of it.
Can you talk about the clave beat though? Can you show that? Can you demonstrate that?
I don't know if I can do that. I don't know. I can play Latin. I can play bossa nova.
Yeah, but a little bossa. Let's do a little bossa.
Of me doing bossa, but I can't do it from a dead stop.
Right.
I'm not a school drummer. If I don't feel something, I can't play it. It's as simple as that.
What has been the extension of vocabulary in jazz music since bebop?
Like you said, fusion.
What does that mean? What does fusion mean?
I don't know. It's a combination of two styles of music put together.
Right.
My daughter can answer that better. She's of that age group. I don't know.
But I guess what I'm saying is, when you in your career, you've always played bebop? You've never played any type of, you never tried to play Weather Report or?
No, I can't stand them.
You can't stand. Talk about why that drives you crazy.
Well, it's the sound. It's the tempo. I did a thing with Dave Lehman, and
he's a dear friend. He's
God,
obsessed with the Jake Feinberg show.
Yeah. Phil Markowitz, late Dennis Earl, and myself. We did a tribute to Chet. I'm going to give you a CD before you go. Dave Lehman, unbelievable player. Now, Dave can also play fusion. But something about the Weather Report, Chet liked him, but I never did.
What about Elvin Jones?
Love Elvin. I knew Elvin.
Can you talk about what he brought to the table?
Yeah, he was the guy who focused on the, like, I'm trying to show you slow. He did. What? Instead of going like in a row, use with one hand. That's what he brought, that triplet feel.
The triplet feel.
Yeah, against the right. With two hands, you go. There you go. The left hand, like in other words, you son of a gun. You son of a gun. He brought that with that forward propulsion on the edge kind of playing. Beautiful player.
Art, I want to ask you, if you're talking to younger cats out there who are looking to unplug because we're saturated with material now, we have the internet, we have YouTube, we're saturated with information. If people want to unplug, what is your advice for them to develop time, feel, and rhythm outside of looking at YouTube? I mean, can you talk a little bit, going back to the stove, going back to just the indigenous ways that you learned how to keep time and play the melody?
Well, I tell drums, a lot of drummers I teach, even drummers who in school have a lot of chops. I teach them chops without feeling, it's of no value.
Chops with no feeling, no value.
Right. And I always say, if you listen more, if you play less, you'll hear more. If you hear more, you'll play less. In other words, give me that question again. I've lost my track.
Right. So getting out of the gadgetry, getting off of new media, getting off of YouTube, stop trying to read out of a book academically, but just learn time, feel, and be melodic. I mean, in an organic, if you went to Maine in the middle of Arcadia National Forest, give me some games, give me some tips for the younger cats.
Yeah, well, just what I was showing you here, is the most important thing is a lot of drummers play on 1, 2, 3. Well, bebop was done in 2 and 4 times. No. All right? Here's a wall. Oh, no. It's here. Okay, that's what's that. Okay, there's a half time being. Okay, here's the motor. When I hear that, the Chet was something down. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. All right? The only thing come over here. Come over here. My daughter, come over here. She's that generation. Come over here, sweetheart. This is my daughter, Jake, Kathy.
Hi.
She's a hell of a drummer herself. Maybe she can help explain what he just asked at. Maybe you're better off. You're playing it now.
Well, while you're thinking about it, you want to just do some scat singing while he plays?
You do scat
She
singing?
can't. She can't. I think I know what you mean. I would tell people, like I told Kathy, when Kathy was growing up, she'd always do this for her. Look, Jake, playing on the table. And my wife, Lisa, said, do you want to try playing drums like your father? Well, she did. We started, 2 years ago, honey?
Oh, actually, I started when I was 30.
Okay, 30 years old, so she developed into a hell of a timekeeper. And that's the key, Jake. It's like Chet said, he said, if it has no lyrical value, I have nothing to do with it. All right, I'll put it this way. If music has if it doesn't move me, I can't play it. I showed you, I can't solo. I can, but I have to have a kind of a driving off point to get me like, I go, what? Move the forward, go back. I can do that, but I have to be fed. I just can't do it. I have to communicate with the guys on the stand. If I can't feel it, I can't do it. Simple as that. Because I'm an ear player.
When did you get a chance to play with Art Pepper?
Oh, yeah, with Chet now we're playing in Hollywood. I can't go into too much detail about that. I think you know why, but I found Art moved me more than any other player I've ever heard.
Why?
Because he had what I call the 3 P's: pain, pathos, and poignancy. There was a pain, there was a pathos in his playing. It was like, it gets you right in the gut.
Pathos.
Yeah, and pain and poignancy. Very poignant player, like Chet. When Chet plays a ballad, come on, man. Art Pepper had that.
Did you get a chance to play with cats like Leroy Vinegar?
Yeah, yes.
Who were some of the bass players that you loved to play with because they provided the deep bottom and really not just locked the groove, but were just swinging their butts off with you?
Frank Rosario is one of them.
Well, he's a piano player. I'm talking bass.
Frank De La Rosa.
Frank De La Rosa.
Yeah, and see, Buster Williams. I like
Buster.
Yeah, I like Buster.
Did you play at the Lighthouse?
I played there. No, it was the time I went there. But we played, Chet and I played a couple of plays. I don't really remember, but I do remember what's so strong in my mind is playing at the Melody Room because everyone who was anyone came in. To hear Chet, says he's going to fall on his face or what? And he did, and I got the recordings right here. But a lot of cats would come in and say, like Sam Most.
Abe and Sam Most, legendary brothers.
Sam Most, yeah.
Sam Most could play serious flute. What was it? You got a chance to? I mean, what a vibrant, burning time.
Man. He'd come in and play with us at the Melody Room, and it's funny. I wrote a couple of songs for Sam. Sam was the most. And remember Sam Most?
My God, he's a dear friend. I mean, one of my earliest influences of loving music was Sam Most. Such a beautiful player. I mean, could you talk about some recordings that you were on that when when you first went into the studio.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something. Here's the kicker. I think I can put it this way. I never had a chance to record. I want to tell you why. Every time I go in to record with Chet, they'd had their in-house rhythm section, and they couldn't do it. But I got so many tapes of Chet and I together, and so many recordings of Chet and I on CDs now.
So these are live shows with Chet. I mean, these things need to be. Yeah. What was the ration? So you're talking about Chet Baker stuff, Riverside. They'd bring people in, and it would be people that were already contracted.
Let me give you a quick example.
Victor Feldman.
Oh, I like Victor. We went down to a place called the Strikers Pub on 86 and Columbus Avenue, right? 75. We had the great Bob Mover on alto, Cameron Brown on bass, Harold Danko, and Al Hunter Bryan, whichever, on piano,
Wow.
and myself on drum. Peter Pan, when he worked for CTI, came in one night and handed Chet a piece of paper. And I leaned over and said, "What's that, Chet?" He said, "They want me to play at the CTI Jazz All-Star Festival in Walden Rink, right?"
Creed Taylor came in and gave him that.
No, Peter Paul, who worked for Creed.
Peter Paul. Okay.
I think that's his name.
They wanted is Carnegie Hall sessions.
No, this
No.
is at Walden Rink, the CTI Jazz Festival, All-Star Festival.
Ah, yeah.
I got the paper here. Anyway, Chet said he's not going to do it unless he can bring his own rhythm section with him. So about an hour went by, Peter Paul came back in and he agreed. He said, "Okay, you do it." So Chet and I, Bob Mover, Cameron Brown, and Harold Danko went down to Central Park to Walden Rink and did that. It was the most memorable time of my life. Grover Walker was there, Herbert Laws, Joe Farrell, Idris Muhammad.
Can we get a year on this? 74?
75. August 25th, 1975.
And that was pressed to record or never came
No,
out?
it was somebody pressed it. Somebody did. I never heard it though. It's so beautiful. It's in my book.
So the Chet's performance never made it on vinyl, though.
Yeah, even in 78.
Well, I'm just trying to say, you talk about this CTI All-Star. I've seen a lot of those records, but I'm trying to figure out if there's a track on there. Maybe you aren't listed, but if you've never been recorded on a record, but you've played. Can you just talk about the idea of the experience of being able to play 6 or 7 nights a week on the bandstand and how that helped you develop your own individual voice?
Well, I'll tell you. You asked about the kids, how they could learn. Something flashed in my mind. I remember when I was on the road. When I say on the road, not playing as much as I was just working.
Yeah.
I would have a pair of sticks, heavier sticks than this. In fact, see those sticks up there? I have the heavy sticks. I'd take those with a pillow like this. I'd just do the left hand like this on a pillow.
Would you demonstrate? Yeah, the Gene Stone, the pillow method.
You know, watch it. He's not really?
Gene Stone, the dear friend.
Okay, now watch this. I do this. There's no bounce. It's all wrist. Look. Look at the table. All right? Ow, left hand. That's how it goes. See the plan? That's it. Tell the kids to do that.
Do you feel that music continues to keep your soul alive? Can you talk about what music has meant to your longevity? The fact that you're burning your butt off still. Bob.
Yeah.
By the way, you're going to go on record now and tell me and the audience that Bird and Diz coined the term bebop and not the journalists.
Yeah, I'll tell you why. What's his name?
Hentoff.
No, I don't. Yeah.
I love Hentoff, dude.
You do? Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yes, and
Yeah.
Howard Getz was a good fun. I love Tyra.
Oh my dude, legendary cat. Great writer.
What's his name, honey? Gottlieb.
William.
Bill Gottlieb.
Bill Gottlieb. Now, who's that?
He's one of the greatest photographers in history. Also, Harry. I forget my memory here. Greatest photographer.
It's okay.
Herman Leonard.
Yeah.
Herman Leonard. Okay. both saw me playing with Charlie Parker. And they said that I belonged to the category of Max Roach, Kenny Clark, and Philly Joe Jones. But here's the thing. I couldn't travel all that much. I couldn't.
No, I'm going back to this thing. We talked about jive, into jazz, into where did my belief is this, is that that Diz and Bird never used the word bebop.
Wrong.
They did.
Wrong. I'll tell you
You've
what.
heard them use the word. You heard Bird.
This is in the Royal Roost. Some I thought was a jazz critic come up and said, "What is bebop, Mr. Parker?" He said, "Bebop is about constant recovery." He used the word "bebop is about constant recovery."
So he used that word to describe the music. All right. Well, there you go.
He did.
I mean, did you ever play any burlesque houses or brothels?
Yes, I did.
Can you talk about that? Because I mean, Ahmad Jamal, when I interviewed him, he would play with a drummer and a piano, and they'd switch instruments. He played drums. 8 hours. They were great gigs.
You know, I forgot. I was playing in Boston with Sabby Lewis. Have you heard of Sabby Lewis? Oh, wait time.
Yeah.
Tenor saxophone player. Anyway, it was a burlesque show, and I think her name was Bunny Remus. And I wanted to play with, I played like this.
Yeah.
She go, and she started tripping. Yeah.
Sure.
So I do. I did it for a week and a half. Like the hell there.
Can you tell me a little bit about what keeps you going today?
Can you keep me going?
The fact that you have been cooking here for almost an hour on fire.
Right there, my wife Lisa. Come on, Yanni. I'll see my wife Lisa.
Yeah, Lisa, come on in here.
Yeah. My dear wife Lisa, she's my life. She's my everything. She's my van. When I go on the road, she sets my drums up for me, tears them down. In between sets, you got to make sure everything's all right. Check it out. She's a great cook, great baker, and she's my best. She's my all baby.
Oh, I'm so happy. That's so beautiful. Can you when you go on the road, what kind of gigs are you playing?
We did Southern Line, we did the thing in New York City, we did New Jersey,
They
we
were
did
all regional, so we didn't.
like New Jersey,
He
New
was
York.
based in the Northeast when I knew him, so he'd do New York and the Boston area.
Right. We also did with Chet and I with Lon Lusky on guitar, great guitarist, Chris Collins on bass, and great tenor player. Sal Nistigo.
Oh, Sal.
Oh,
Buffalo Cat.
oh man, we played at Sam Moses Club, the Renaissance too.
It was not Sam Most, it was Sam.
Sam Noto. Sam Noto.
So he's probably watching Sam Noto.
Man, I love Sam.
I'm a dear friend, great friends on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
He's, we got to get him on the pro. I mean,
Got to get Sam up. He's a great trumpet player too.
if you had any inspirational words for cats about how to create space in the music, what would it be? Because today it's noise. Today most music is honestly made for pacification. It's not made for burning, feeling music. And I want you to differentiate that if possible.
Okay, when I'm playing behind Chet, and you know he's a very lyrical, melodic, very sensitive player, even up tempo. If you made a mistake, you were in deep trouble. Chet was a professional. I was with him one time when he fired 2 guys off the stand.
On the bandstand?
Yeah, immediately.
Jeez.
And we played one night in Hollywood all by ourselves, just Chet and drums and trumpet.
Drums and trumpet. Oh, I've never heard of that. That's an interesting duo.
Okay, for example, when Chet was playing, I would listen, particularly if he's up here. I would only fill the space he gave me. Chet left a lot of spaces. Most drummers are doing drum solos up there.
Right.
But see, I lay back. If I want to explode, I'll explode on my 4s and my 8s. Now, I told Kathy how to play drums. Watch this. Let's do it. 4. I want to get her epoch break line. See how little that is? It's spaces. Stop me over. And I do something else. I do a double pulse on here. What? thing going. That's the bebop.
Okay, but now people are, by the way, keep the comments coming in. This is unbelievable. Artt Frank on fire, but you didn't use the bass drum at all there.
No. Yeah, yeah.
All people do now is double bass drums. That's how they keep time. You're not keeping time like that.
No.
What's the best way for people to reset their entire brain to get away from the bass drums because you can't hear anything?
Yeah. Well, see how I use mine. I use it as a feather. Watch.
You're feathering it.
Yeah.
Show the feathering.
No, left hand, right. Now I did that on purpose. What did you discover there?
My head is still spinning right now. I mean, you were feathering the bass drum. That's really all I took away from that.
All I did was I purposely went out of time here. When I came back and covered myself with a cymbal ring. And watch, it's done. I hit loud till I pick the time again. Watch me go stop.
They are brushes that still stick level. That's
Oh, yeah.
another thing.
Thank you. Yep. That's why you have your beautiful wife here, all right?
Yeah. Tune it like this. On stick level. That's stick level now up. Give it.
It's smoking hot.
I gotta find it before you roll here.
Can you, in our final moments here with Artt Frank, can you talk about when you recognized that the drum itself was its own language, that people were speaking and communicating, the power of the spirit of the drum?
Yeah. When I saw Gene Cooper, I vowed I'd meet him one day. He was my champion. I'd go, he did the thing with matches, and he, on a little box, and at the end he'd light the match. Oh, I said, I want to be like him. And I studied playing on tables. He got me started. He brought drum to the forefront. And I finally met him one day in New York and told him. And that's what started me.
You get a chance to play with Mingus or Dolphy?
Yes, I did. No, not Mingus, no. Monk.
Monk, can you talk about playing with Thelonious?
Yeah, funny. When I got started, he noodled a lot. And he started playing some discordant thing.
Very dissident kind of thing,
Yes,
right?
that's it.
Yeah, dissonance.
Yeah. I picked him up one time in L.A. These are me and Chet. And he had something like 11 suitcases with him. And he had a long camel hair coat in the middle of the summer on, buttoned down, right?
Oh, boy.
And a hat on.
Yeah. The heck is he doing?
So I said, who the hell is that? That's my guy. So anyway, he says, hey, Chet, he says, could you give me a ride? says, I don't have the car. He says, all I got is Art's car, my convertible. I have a convertible Ford XL 500. So I said, we'll take you. We put the suitcases in the car. Some of the front and some of the back with him. You turn around, I was driving the car. You turn around, and he's coming with suitcases and just. We dropped them off someplace, either North Hollywood or.
Was it smoking pot back there? You had joints in there?
No, I didn't say that.
Yeah.
I couldn't see him because if I saw smoke coming, it was not pot, it was just cigarettes.
It was just cigarette. He had a couple loose, luggages full of cigarettes.
I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. He had 10 suitcases and a camel coat.
Yeah, down here, Chet told me about it. He says, with Monk anything, this guy does anything. And I'll tell you something I meant to mention. Sally, Lenny Bruce's mother. When I was playing the Melody Room, Sally Bruce and her daughter, son and daughter-in-law, Honey, would come every night. And after each set, she'd come over and she'd hug me. She'd start crying. She said, Chet reminds us so much of Lenny. And
what did she mean by that for younger peeps out there?
well, Lenny was a habit.
He was also in jail a lot.
Yeah. All I can say, really,
Yeah.
seriously, what I remember, and this may sound corny, but I give all my credit, thank Him and God Almighty. And what I remember about the Bob age is that in the time of sadness, with all the players, and they were just sharing with one another. Every time you get a new lick, you got, hey man, listen, and the other guy would call me, throwing something, same thing. It was a time that would never happen again, ever.
Why was there sadness, and why would why did that produce sharing?
Because every musician come out was primarily broke. It's caused. Look, I got my PhD on the streets of New York. Literally, I don't have a PhD. I learned.
Yeah, I dig.
In back cars in the alley.
You're a street scholar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Most guys were. And
that's why I gravitate towards your generation.
Exactly. And another thing, the beatnik generation, people don't know this. I'll give you a little tip.
Please.
You know what beatnik means?
Yeah.
That guys like the, I knew Lenny Bro, great jazz guitarist.
A Toronto, a Canadian cat.
What was the name?
Lenny was from. I thought he was from Canada. He's Canadian.
What's the name? As far as I know, I lived only.
Well, no, but can you wax and weave about Kerouac and the Beats?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Jack Kerouac. Why he did the called the Beat Generation is because it was from the Beatitudes of the Lord. You know that?
Say again.
The Beatitudes of the Lord. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for to be called the kingdom of God. Jack Kerouac was a very spiritual man, and he would do this. That's what it was all about. The Beat Generation started right then or after him. I met Jack.
You did.
Yeah.
They were parallel alongside the bebop movement.
The Beatitudes. He was a spiritual man, and here's another thing people don't know. I was going to be a priest.
So was Michael Shreve.
So was Gene Krupa.
Oh, it's good company right there.
Exactly. But you see, I was led by the Lord to play drums. And listen, man, look. I'm 84. I have last stage emphysema. And hardly breathe yet. I'm playing like this. And I haven't played this inspired in years.
You want to give us a little bit of a send-off here? Because this worldwide audience, this is going to be seen everywhere.
Well, all I can say is that bebop was a time of sharing. I mean, you go in, the one drummer would say, hey, Kenny Clark, say, look at this, look at this, man. They'd share what they, if you got a new beat, he couldn't help but share with you. Like look at what? There's a name for me. Oh, you son of a bitch. Hear that? Oh, you son of a bee. Oh, you son of a... Echo it.
Artt Frank, I love you, man. Thank you for putting on a clinic, dropping enlightenment and knowledge. I really hope, even if this inspires just one cat to develop their own individual sound, I think the most important thing is through sharing, through camaraderie and love. That's how vocabulary music
Right.
will expand.
Exactly.
So we'll be in touch, my friend, and much love to you, man.
Oh, you too, man. Thanks for coming over. Thank my wife and my dog, Kathy.
See you later. This is the Jake Feinberg Show.
God bless you.
Later on.